Hi, my name is Marsae. I'm a senior at Madison High School, and our shared future is our shared equality. Okay, so to begin, I would like to tell a brief little story. So one day I was at home and I was watching Scandal season 3 premiere, and Shonda Rhimes, you know the best, TGIT, and on the show there was a great monologue where Rowan Pope, who's Olivia Pope's father on the show, he said, "You have to be twice as good to get half of what they have." And this is a harsh reality that many Americans go through on a daily basis, having to be twice as good to get half of what someone else's have. Okay, so yeah, yeah, okay. Okay, so Ta-Nehisi Coates said, "So I feared not just the violence of this world, but the rules designed to protect you from it. The rules that would have you contort your body to address the block, and contort again to be taken seriously by colleagues, and contort again so as not to give the police a reason. All my life, I'd heard people tell their black boys and black girls to be twice as good, which is to say except half as much. These words would be spoken with the veneer of religious nobility, as though they evidenced some unspoken quality, some undetected courage, when in fact all they evidenced was the gun to our head and the hand in our pocket. This is how we lose our softness. This is how they steal our right to smile." Now, I know this all so well because I'm black and female in our society. I've been told that I'm too loud, too ghetto, not enough, too much, you talk too much, nobody want to marry you, can't nobody be with you, you know, all that. But that is the problem that we have in our society, the people feeling that we're less than and inadequate when we were all one and we're all together. And we need to share the future and come together as one, and not knowing that we are not a melting pot, we are all a stew. And the stew all comes together for the greater good. Okay, so I'm going to tell a story about first, I want to talk about how equality in the schools. So Marie C. Wilson, former president of the White House Project, once said, "You cannot be what you cannot see." By this, she means that your surroundings have a major impact on your life and your decision making. We are all products of our environment in one way or the other. And there was a podcast called 3 Miles, which talked about 2 schools in the Bronx in New York that were 3 miles away from each other, one Philston High School and the other University Heights. Now, these schools were not created equal. They were 3 miles from each other, but Philston is 18 acres and is top of the line, state of the art. University Heights is a very small school that shares space with another school and doesn't even have a library. One of the students who was coming from University Heights to Philston, so they wanted to see how, the University Heights students were going to react to seeing Philston. She said that she knew that it wasn't for her and it wasn't meant for her because it was only for the elite and the privileged. Many kids in schools do not read books by people who look like them or about them. They read books by a lot of people who they don't identify with. I'm a black girl and I haven't read a book by a woman who looks like me until I was like in middle school. Growing up, I wanted to be a writer, I wanted to be an author, but I had never read a book by someone who looked like me, so it felt like a foreign concept to me. Now, I want to talk about injustice in our social settings. And I'm going to talk about Ahmed Muhammad. He's a very smart boy who built a clock and he brought it to school and they thought it was a bomb. Now, they like to say that it wasn't because he was of his race or religion that they thought it was a bomb, but they, didn't evacuate the school. They didn't do any of that. They just arrested him and humiliated him, and it was posted all over the internet, and now he's going back to Qatar. My girl B, Batty B, Mother Creole. Okay. So she released her single Formation, and she got a lot of backlash for her carefree black girl glory, and she wanted to pay homage to the Black Panthers and all they did for the black community. And according to journalist Tommy Loren, she was ripping off the historical Band-Aids. And to Tommy Loren, I would like to say these are fresh wounds. Tamir Rice was a Cleveland 12-year-old boy who was shot and killed in a park because he had a toy gun. The police came and identified this 12-year-old boy as he was in his 20s, and they killed him with no time spared, and they shot first, asked questions later. Eric Gardner was choked, and choking is, illegal and prohibited by the New York police, and there was no indictment. Trayvon Martin, he was killed after coming home trying to get Skittles in Arizona just because he was black and had a hood in his own neighborhood. And just to say that we need to understand that in order for us to share the future, we have to share the present, and we have to make strides towards equality and togetherness. Today we see all these injustices that make me think of the history repeating itself over and over again. When people are at rallies and they're being pushed around and they're being pepper sprayed, it makes me think of, the protesters, SNCC protesters and civil rights movement when they were being mistreated and bitten by dogs. And then when we see Tamir Rice, 12-year-old boy who was shot and killed in a playground, and it makes me think of Emmett Till, who was dragged out his house and beaten and killed, and his open casket, his eye is bulging out. This girl from Columbia University was raped, and the school did nothing about it, and so she carried, burdening herself with a mattress because she wanted to make a statement. She wanted to tell everybody that this is not okay. We live in a country where somebody gets raped, and we ask them, well, did you say no? Did you not consent? Like, if I told you I got raped, I got raped. It shouldn't be a question. The most congressional awards and honors and medals were given to the 7th Cavalry after they killed 300 Lakota Sioux men, which is a Native American tribe, killed them just to take their land, and they got congressional honors. Now, this is a problem, and we need to understand that our shared future is our shared equality. Thank you.